I want to tell you the story of a man named Harold Whittaker. He was 76 years old when his world began to feel quieter. Not because of the ticking clock or the creaking floorboards of his modest home in Vermont, but because of the silence from his two sons. Once upon a time, Harold had been the rock of his family, working double shifts as a machinist, skipping vacations so his sons could have books for school, shoes for winter, and food on the table. He'd raised them to be strong, honest, and kind. But time, as it does, moved on. His wife, Margaret, passed away 5 winters ago, and since then, things hadn't been the same. At first, his sons, Nathan and Paul, called once a week, then once a month, then nothing. No calls on his birthday, no visits on Thanksgiving. Christmas passed like any other day, with Harold sitting alone at the kitchen table, staring at a piece of fruitcake someone from church had left on his porch. He didn't want pity. He didn't even want guests. Just their time, their voice, a reminder that he still mattered. But they were busy, as they told him. Busy with work, busy with their own children, busy with life. And Harold, like many seniors across the world, began to feel invisible. But here's what Harold didn't do. He didn't lash out. He didn't scream or guilt them with harsh words. He stayed calm. And what he did instead changed everything. One day, after months of no contact, Harold sat down with a pen and a notebook. He began writing not letters of anger, but stories. His stories. Not for them. For himself. He wrote about his childhood, growing up with 5 siblings and 1 pair of shoes between them. He wrote about meeting Margaret, the most beautiful girl at the dance hall who could outfish any man on the river. He wrote about how he built the crib for Nathan by hand. How he once stayed up 3 nights in a row just to help Paul finish his science project because Paul had a fever and couldn't work on it. Page after page, Harold began to relive the moments that had once defined him, not as a forgotten father, but as a man of purpose, love, and resilience. Writing became his therapy. Then one Sunday morning, something happened. He attended church service, as he always did, and the pastor was talking about forgiveness and letting go. Not for others, but for your own peace. Harold realized he'd been carrying a quiet, growing bitterness in his chest. And bitterness, he now understood, is a poison you drink hoping someone else gets sick. That night, he made a decision. He would not let his son's silence define the rest of his life. So he shifted focus. Harold rebuilt his identity beyond fatherhood. He joined a local community garden where he met Alice, an 81-year-old firecracker who told inappropriate jokes and could grow tomatoes the size of his fist. He started volunteering at a local shelter, serving hot meals to those who actually looked him in the eye and said, "Thank you." He taught kids how to carve wood in the community center. And slowly, Harold found something he hadn't felt in a long time: value. The respect he sought from his children? He found it in strangers. The conversations he craved? He had them over cups of coffee with fellow volunteers. The laughter he missed? It echoed through the garden every morning when Alice teased him about his limp. Harold let go of expectations. One day, he picked up his phone and texted both of his sons. "Hi boys, I hope you're doing well. I just wanted to say I love you. Always have, always will. No pressure to call or visit. Just know I'm thinking of you, and I'm proud of the men you've become. Take care." Then he put his phone down and went on with his day. He didn't check for replies every 10 minutes. He didn't sit by the window hoping they'd drive up. He went back to writing, gardening, volunteering. Harold practiced emotional self-reliance. You see, Harold realized something powerful. Just because someone doesn't give you what you want doesn't mean you don't deserve it. And it certainly doesn't mean you have to keep begging for it. He began waking up with purpose again. He smiled more. He slept better. He stood taller. And the world noticed. 2 months later, Nathan showed up. No warning. No grand gesture. Just a knock on the door, and there he was, standing with a box of Harold's favorite donuts. "I've been thinking about you, Dad," he said, eyes wet. "I'm sorry." Harold hugged him, not with anger, not with bitterness, but with the softness of someone who had already healed. They sat and talked for hours. Nathan explained the stress of work, the guilt that grew so big it became paralyzing. And Harold listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't say, "I told you so." He simply said, "I'm glad you're here. That's enough." Paul came a week later. Same thing. Apologies. Regrets. Hugs. But Harold didn't need them anymore. He appreciated the moment, but he no longer depended on it for his joy, because now he knew peace isn't given. Peace is made. So, what's the lesson here? If your children don't respect you, or if they ignore you, it hurts. That pain is real. You gave your life for them, your time, your health, your everything. And now, in your twilight years, all you ask is for them to look back. But sometimes they don't. And when they don't, you must stay calm. Don't beg. Don't chase. Don't let their absence become the center of your story. Instead, rebuild your identity. You were someone long before you were a parent. You still are. Here's what you can do, starting today. Write your story, even if no one reads it. Writing reminds you that your life had meaning, color, and chapters worth remembering. Find new circles, join groups, clubs, or communities. Serve others. Teach what you know. Give your time to those who value it. Let go of control. Your children are adults now. You can't control their choices, but you can control your reaction. Set peace as your goal, not reconciliation. If they return, welcome them. But don't wait for it like it's your last lifeline. Forgive them for your own sake, not because they deserve it, but because you do. And finally, know this. Respect is not always returned in the way you give it, but your worth isn't measured by who calls you or who forgets you. It's measured by how you choose to live despite it. Just like Harold, you can take back your story. With calm, with courage, and with the quiet power of a heart that still beats, not for others, but for itself. If you're someone who's been feeling forgotten, this is your sign to reclaim your peace. Write your story. Live for you. And if this video helped you, please share it with someone who might need it too. You're not alone. Not anymore.